Hey, good morning, everyone. Me, Denise Garcia, stopping by to talk to you a little bit about the Equal Opportunity Credit Act of 1974. So, as you guys know, this month is National Women's History Month, which I can't believe it's already here again. It feels like it was just here, like, not too long ago. Anyway, so I'm wanted to share with you guys. So this morning I woke up 2 o'clock in the morning looking for my birth certificate. No, just kidding. It's one of those. It's kind of a little joke that I have with myself that one of my friends shared with me one time about not being able to sleep and waking up from a dead sleep and being wide awake. So anyway, I have been kind of getting into the whole Women's History Month and trying to understand. I posted earlier this morning, Ada Lovelace, who was actually one of the first women to be a coder, like way back in the 1800s. So if you get an opportunity, go back and take a look at that. It's a really short video. It's only like a couple of minutes long, but it's super informative, and it just you can go down the path to like many other things that are that have to do with the National Women's History Month. So this morning, sorry guys, yesterday I was watching the movie Blue Hawaii with Elvis Presley. I've been trying to get into these old movies and just trying to see kind of how things were different in 1961 and 1960 compared to how they are today, and how women are perceived and how women are treated. Anyway, so in this movie, I was just telling my sister this morning, it starts out in Hawaii, of course, and Elvis Presley is coming home from the army, and his girlfriend, who hasn't seen him in 2 years, is getting ready to go get him. And so she gets to the airplane, the door opens, and he's kissing another girl, the stewardess. Back then they were called stewardesses. Anyway, so he's kissing the stewardess, and they go through this whole thing, and she kind of like she's not really, she doesn't like blow up and run up the stairs and let them both have it. She stands there very ladylike and waits for Elvis to come down the stairs. So when he gets down there, he says to her, I was just kidding, whatever. And they just kind of laugh it off like it was nothing. Now for me, I'm like, I don't know any woman now or then that would, and you cross your legs and close your lips and, don't say anything. Maybe it really was that way back then, and it very well could have been. But anyway, I was very surprised at that scene. And so then the movie goes on a little bit, and I knew Angela Lansbury was in the movie. So anyway, Angela Lansbury is playing Elvis's mother, who they own like this pineapple company or whatever. Anyway, she calls her husband daddy, which, that's not too unusual, but if you watch the movie or see a scene from it, it's very demeaning to her, the way that she's treated in the movie. And anyway, so my first thought is, what the hell is she doing acting like that? She's a crime solving detective that can solve any crime, like on Murder, She Wrote, Anyway, so I was very surprised at the entire movie. So anyway, that to say, this morning I woke up and that was the first thing that came to my mind was, thank goodness to all of the women, my grandmother, my mother, your mothers, your grandmothers, that stood up and said, hey, I can do this. I don't need to be treated differently, even though they were still treated differently. And I always say this about my grandma Killa. My grandma Killa was a single mother before single mothers were even thought of. She raised 7 children on her own, working out in the fields and in the beets and the beans. And sorry guys, I get really emotional when I think about how strong of a woman this 4'10" woman, she was, if even that tall, that raised 7 amazing people on her own, working in the fields and doing backbreaking work that I never had to do. My mom took us out to the fields when we were kids, so that we could buy our own school clothes, but it was to teach us a lesson. It wasn't because we had to. It was to teach us that, hey, do you want to do this back breaking work? Or do you want to get yourself a real position of, in a good company where we're warm in the winter and cool in the summer? Up to you. You can do this kind of work because the world always needs ditch diggers, right? So anyway, back to the story. So this morning I wake up and that's the first thing I'm thinking about is, oh my gosh, this is just like crazy to me in a short period of time how far we've come. Well, since it's Women's History Month, on my thing, of course, I'm looking at my phone, thing pops up, the Equal Opportunity Credit Act of 1974. And I did not know that up until 1974, less than 50 years ago, sorry, that's what I was trying to say. Less than 50 years ago, women were not allowed to have a credit card without a man co-signer. Can you imagine? I was already 5 years old before my mom could have a credit card on her own, regardless of whether she made more money than my dad. I don't know what the situation was, but all I'm saying is this is an example, right? Even if the woman made more money than the man, the woman could not get a credit card unless the man co-signed for her. So just imagine, guys, that if we couldn't go out and apply for a credit card on our own without asking our husbands first. Less than 50 years ago, that was happening. So grateful to all of the women that had stood up back then and fought for our rights so that our daughters will never know what it's like to have to ask permission from a male counterpart to be able to get credit. And think about, on top of that, what that meant if a woman couldn't build her own credit. So if I didn't have any credit, I wouldn't be able to buy a home. I couldn't be a landowner. If I did get anything, I would be paying interest rates through the roof because I don't have any credit. So just think about that today, ladies, about how much the women that came before us did for us so that our daughters will never even know that they couldn't get a credit card without a male counterpart co-signing for them. Thank you to all the women out there. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful Friday, a great weekend, and a great day. All right, guys. Thank you. Talk later. Bye.